All right, guys, welcome into Locky Top's reaction to the Vols dominating the Wildcats tonight in Rupp Arena. Final score 103-92. Vols coming out on top. I'm Josh. Naveen's on the mic tonight, and so is Andrew. He's recovering from the swine flu or whatever he got yesterday. Voice is back, and he's ready to come in and talk the big win at Rupp tonight. So I missed yesterday on the stats from the podcast. So Andy, lead us off. Big stats. Tennessee versus Kentucky. What was the key to victory tonight?
Well, thank you. I would say this is almost a perfect game that Tennessee could have played. They really limited the turnovers, won the turnover battle, the fast break points, really aggressive. Excuse me, on the offensive board. They were, I think they had 4 more offensive rebounds than Kentucky did. And, also just shooting very well, 40% from the 3. Field goal percentage overall, 48.6%. They took care of their free throws as well, 73% shooting from the free throws. Anytime you score more than 100 in college game, I think, that's when you evaluate an offensive performance, I think that's a really good sign. I want to take a second to give a quick shout out to 3 guys that I thought did phenomenal today. My boy Zakai Ziegler, 26 points, career high. 13 assists, also career high. So doing that against Kentucky at a very tough away environment. And you could just tell he was just in control all night. If you guys are watching the game, the announcers were just constantly showing that he had scored or assisted on Tennessee's points, like 60% of it. So, he was just everywhere tonight. One play that stood out for me was when it was about 4 minutes left to go before the game, where shot clock was winding down. And Adu missed the shot, and he immediately knew what to do. He just went for the rebound and just drew it up before the shot clock expired. To me, that's like a smart play. Like you're aware of your surroundings. As a 5'10" guy, you went out and grabbed the rebound, and then you drew it up before the shot clock expired. So nothing but praises. Very good on defense as well. Felt like especially the steal that he had in the first half, where he was called for a foul. I doubt that shouldn't have been called a foul, but regardless, it showed that he was hustling on both ends. And then secondly, the target that Josh likes to dog on all the time, Josiah Jordan James.
Save Triple J for me, Andy.
Yeah, 26 points. So I'll you guys can hear. Wait to see what Josh has to say about that. But just going through the stats that stands out for me. His career high. So, again, having your career high in points against the Kentucky team in Rupp Arena, pretty impressive to me. And then finally, I thought Adu did a great job. He was very aggressive, 10 rebounds, 4 offensive boards. So those are my 3 shout outs for today.
All right, man. I appreciate it. Naveen, we're going to get your take here in a little bit, but I have a guy, like I promised, in the pod earlier this week, big time Kentucky fan. His name is Kyle. Big Blue Nation's #1 football and basketball fan. I've known this guy 7 or 8 years now. Good dude, other than being a Kentucky fan. So I'll allow him to come on the show and let him kind of talk us through the Kentucky perspective and how he's feeling about Coach Cal and the way that the Wildcats season is shaking out for him. So welcome in, Kyle.
What's up, guys?
What's up, man? Is that how we feel tonight? Is that how we feel tonight?
Coach Cal can go get on a bus and head the fuck back to Pennsylvania for all I give a shit. So that's how I'm feeling. So literally same thing, different day. Nothing's changed. You give up 103, you're gonna lose no matter what. So They can score all they want, but they can't defend. And that's been the problem all season long.
I'll kind of walk us through, Rob Dillingham coming off the bench for you guys and just lighting the world on fire. And then kind of a boneheaded play that he made there, trying to step to one Tobe Awaka.
Well, so, in his defense, he's just trying to grab that ball for a jump ball situation. But coming off, I think he's a great six man coming off the bench. He kind of brings that extra scoring element for us. If we need, especially if we start slow like we started tonight, and then obviously Cal brings him in and just straight off the bat, 3 threes really quick. Like once he gets going, he gets going, and it's hard to cool him off. But again, he's a freshman too, so he makes these, watching him play D, he can get a little bit too aggressive at times, and that kind of, can hurt him a little bit. So again, that one play, where freaking was it Doug Shows, takes, I think he was watching a movie. It was like 15 minutes later, we finally got, the call on the floor of what was going on. So he's going for a jump. He's trying to tag, jump ball, big rivalry, Tennessee's hype there. We've all played pickup basketball where, both people get to the ball at the same time. We're, tempers get flared a little bit. And then, Bradshaw didn't like his boy getting pushed, so he pushes back. And then you had,
Bradshaw literally pushed Awaka into him. That's how that
Bradshaw
happened.
Comes in and he
pushes him. He initiates the contact.
Well, yeah, and you have him
and your guy
and behind him kind of sandwiching Dillingham. Bradshaw didn't like that, and then you had
your boy Rob's in there punching. Come on,
your number
Kyle.
two, and then you have
take
your
the
number
blue
two,
glasses
whoever
off.
Whoever number two is comes in, and he starts chirping like he wants to be part of the thing. So
yeah, Jordan Gainey.
It's just basketball rivalry game. It's going to happen, but like I said, Dillingham is just that good six man, comes off the bench. I like him as the six. But yeah, it just hurts that Wagner was out tonight. Justin Edwards hasn't been nothing this year for us. Been a huge bust. So I just think he's letting the moment, the spotlight and the limelight get to him, and he's not just playing basketball. He's weak to the rim. He doesn't defend. He's just soft, pretty much.
Man, yeah. So speaking of soft, I heard a lot of soft takes from Kentucky fans. I listened to KSR a little bit this week, and I heard them talking about, hey, man, all we got to do is stop Dalton Knecht. That's all we have to do. Once we stop him, Tennessee don't have anything else. And honestly, they double teamed him all night. It looks like they stopped him from going off for 30. But, we had guys, and all over the place in double digits. Had a couple guys with double doubles. And it was kind of a complete game from, our basically our first 8, if you include the 3 guys that we have in our rotation with our starters. So kind of walk me through that. How'd that make you feel watching, your game plan and your scout kind of work on shutting down Dalton, but everybody went off for big games tonight. I mean, I think we had 2 of our players have career high in scoring.
Yeah, I think Coach Cal forgot that there's 4 other people that are on the court at the same time as Dalton Knecht. So, you shut somebody down, you have to play defense on the other 4 people as well. And then another big thing is we don't have anybody big. We have 3 7-footers, but they play like they're 5'11". Bradshaw 2 points tonight. Odenzu's probably been our best presence in the paint. Which kind of, a little shocking, especially when he entered the transfer portal and then came back out. Thank God he did. But all 3 of them show no offensive presence down there. And they honestly don't show any rebounding presence besides just being able to, shot block here and there. But again, I just don't understand what Coach Cal's doing defensively on, there's other players on the floor. We got to, you shut down Dalton Knecht, which we did, and held him to 16 points. But, at the same time, Ziegler goes off, and Ziegler in the past years he's played Kentucky, he's been held in check pretty good. This is probably his best game he's had against Kentucky. And then you guys are averaging 8 threes per game this year. And of course, whoever plays Kentucky, they shoot lights out, when it comes to shooting threes. It happens every game. So it's, playing Kentucky will be everybody's Super Bowl, everybody's national championship. That's just the way it is. So, so Kentucky, and that's what Kentucky's got to realize.
That's such a beta take on
it's
that
not,
one, Kyle.
It's just, it's not. It's not. Everybody
Tennessee
plays their best.
Listen, no, Rick Barnes owns Kentucky. It's not his Super Bowl.
I listened to you earlier today, and you didn't have zero faith in the Vols today. You're like, we're going to get slammed. We're going to get busted out of this gym. Kentucky's going to come in here and beat us by plus 20 like they did last year. So where's the faith in you, man?
So I never said that. But to all the detractors that's listening to the pod, my brother-in-law, he was texting me just a minute ago, sending me the eye emojis. Yeah, and I mentioned it on last night's show. After I had a cooling off period, I kind of reassessed where I was, and I called the Vols to win tonight. I said cover, went outright, and I'm glad that you brought up Zakai Ziegler, because if you ask Andrew or Naveen. Naveen, who did I say was going to be the linchpin to success tonight? Who was going to be the kitty killer for the Vols?
Ziegler.
Exactly. So, Kyle, I don't see where Kentucky goes from here, man.
They're not going to go anywhere with their defense. They're not. They're not going to go anywhere with their defense. They honestly need to get kicked out of the top 25. Whenever they're in the top 10, whenever they're in the top 10, they play like crap. It's like they feel that extra pressure being in the top 10. Whenever we're out of the top 10, we actually play like, we play some basketball. But wherever we're in the top 10, it's like, what happened to the team that got into the top 10? You know what I mean? So we honestly just take us out of the top 25 for all I care. Because at this point, you're letting everybody score on you. Georgia, South Carolina. Like they're not stopping anything, and that's what I don't understand, especially with the offense tonight. Like Tennessee's running plays, sent pick screens, running plays, and Cal's just sitting there like letting them. It's like a pickup game. Like this is everybody's first time playing basketball. Let's just get the ball in the hoop. There's no screens. There's no picks for Reeves to get open. Dillingham's making his own shots. It's just you're not going to win basketball games if you're going to give up. If you're not going to play defense and not make corrections on the defensive side of the ball, which you haven't done all season. So why is it going to change now when you haven't done it, the first 20 games of the season? So I just don't see it. We're definitely not, we're like, it was a good quote that came out the other day. I think it was Bill. Somebody said it, but Kentucky has a Final Four offense, but they have a round of 32 defense. And defense wins championships, and there's no way we're getting to the Final Four with the defense that we have. So, and it's frustrating as Kentucky fans with, I'll give credit, Cal can recruit, but he can't coach. Anthony Davis won him that championship in 2012. We haven't been to the Final Four since 2015. And that team should have won a national championship there. That was the best Kentucky team probably in the history of Kentucky basketball. So it's going to be 9 years since Cal has taken us to the Final Four. So this is the University of Kentucky basketball. Like, we expect banners to be hung every year. So
I hear you, man. And, I hear the pain in your voice. And
a lot of pain.
I can tell Tennessee just sent you guys back to the coal mines tonight. They decimated you at home. Did the
South
JOB.
Carolina did that first, so and then Florida did it before. Yeah, this was just a little extra.
Yeah, it just hurts when the guys in orange come up and do it.
A
little bit more.
It is. It does, but we still have 8 banners hanging. You have 0. So
here we go, living in the past. Let's just blow the dust off the history books and let's
I'm
talk
just
about
saying.
the past.
I'm just saying.
Let's do it. Andrew, Naveen, you guys got anything for our Wildcat in here tonight?
Sure. My main question is like, why do you think Dillingham does not start? Like, he seems to be, key point of your offense, but doesn't start.
I think it's just you could tell he's not as mature to playing ball as I would say this basketball mindset as like Reed Shepherd. I think Reed Shepherd should definitely be starting. And obviously he started the last 2 games because Wagner's been out. So when Wagner comes back, I think Reed either needs to run the point or play the 2. Because I think he's going to play the 2 because I think Cal's going to keep Wagner at the point at the 1. But Dillingham is just like you see, the past games, he can get a little out of hand. And I think that's the last thing you need from like in the beginning of the game. And what he brings is what he brought tonight. Cal, we go down 8-0, 10-0. Cal brings him off the bench and boom, he's that lightning that hits and we start scoring and then here comes the offense. So I think he will continue to come off the bench. I like him coming off the bench. So he just brings that, that scoring that we need when Kentucky needs it at times. So
yeah, just a quick spark off the bench, right? Sometimes you need that.
Absolutely, he definitely brings that. So,
all right, Kyle. Well, I'm gonna let you get off here, man. We're gonna break down the game from the Tennessee aspect. Don't want to make you sit through that. That's gonna be painful for you, but
all good.
Hey, I've been there a couple times with some of our football coaches. So yeah, I feel you, bro. Thanks for coming on. We'll definitely have you back.
For sure. We'll see how the last game of the season, Kentucky, Tennessee at Tennessee. We'll see.
There you go. You
just don't walk into the tournament too
and get a dub, though.
Yeah, tournament too. So, but that big game at the end of the season, gonna probably come down to some seeding for sure.
Right.
All right, man.
Thanks for having me on, guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
Go Big Blue.
All right, fellas. Now let's do it. All right, Naveed,
what's up?
Thoughts on tonight's game?
Yeah. I mean, we had all the starters score 10 points. We hit my 3 players with 15. We basically hit everything we possibly could in terms of performance. On a Dalton down night, we saw people step up for Dalton. So that was great to see. Just an overall great performance. I think that they couldn't, in the first half, they had the momentum a little bit at the end. And we did a good job of taking care of it. We, other than Dillingham, man, if Dillingham had an average game, this would have been
about 30.
Yeah, this would have been 30-point win, right? So,
I had a couple of alternative spreads that got wrecked by Dillingham, going off like his Kobe Bryant there. So it is crazy. I think I agree with you, Naveen. Like, I can't believe this guy's not starting. And it doesn't seem like he's that bad on defense either. So, and maybe it is gonna take some time for Coach Cal to adjust. I mean, they're both freshmen, right? So it's pretty impressive. I mean, I had to take my head off to him in our group chat. I was just constantly, praising him. Robert Dillingham. It's a name that I'll remember.
Rob Dillingham coming off the bench, man. He did really well, and heaps of praise to him. I will say, a lot of Dillingham's big night was matchup based. Yeah. He did create a lot of his own shots, but he got matched up against our bigs a lot tonight, and that made Tennessee go into drop coverage on defense. So that led to a lot of high percentage shots for him. So that's why you're seeing this. I would call it a statistical anomaly for Rob Dillingham, because typically it's the Antonio Reeves show. Antonio Reeves still scored 21 points for Kentucky tonight, but Dillingham owned it for Kentucky. So, but let me just walk through some stats. Just doubling down on the great night that we had at Rupp. Rick Barnes coming in tonight, he was 3-5 going into games at Rupp. Now he's at 4-5, and he owns an 11-9 record against the Wildcats as Tennessee's head coach. Just for perspective, Tennessee's first game at Rupp was in 1976. So 76 to 2015, Tennessee was 4-35. Rick Barnes has matched the total of wins at Rupp since he's been at Tennessee since 2015. That was prior to him being the head coach there. So hats off to Rick. Great job, kind of breaking down the barrier there and being a consistent winner at Rupp. So what do you guys think about the spiciness? Did you guys think Awaka was justified in his reaction, Naveen, the way he handled that situation? I mean, I even saw Rick kind of give him a high five in the timeout. So what do you think about that?
Yeah, I think it's like defend your teammate kind of appropriate reaction. We didn't see like excessive. I would say that both sides, it wasn't too crazy. Obviously, the ref had to come in and kind of calm things down, but it wasn't too wild. I would say, the 5 minutes of actual time, I wish I could get that time in my life back of when they reviewed it and made it offsetting fucking technicals. Like that was
it was 10 minutes.
That was fucking bullshit.
It was over 10 minutes.
Yeah. So that was a long time. And yeah, I mean that was pretty ridiculous. But yeah, like great game for us. Also for this podcast, we did pretty well on our picks, man. We were at 18-13 to start the show. Now we're at 23-13, so we're at 64%. That's real good.
Yeah, check it out right there.
Yep. I think I swept my picks on the pod. And yeah, we still have Frank's pick for NHL coming up. So that should be another dub for us. And yeah, we're trending in the right way. We had that one in 6 weeks.
I will call out Naveen, who texted me and said, this is a mortgage on Kentucky, but since he didn't declare that on the pod, I'm gonna let it go.
All right, yeah.
Hey,
he said mortgage on Kentucky.
Mortgage on
Kentucky. I did say that.
Yeah,
but for the picks that counted on this podcast, I went
because at the end of the day, Naveen officially declared. Excuse me, Rutgers, Minnesota, and Kansas, right? So
yeah, and UNC.
That was one of those. Like I don't feel strongly enough about this pick where I can announce it in front of Twitter and the internet. So I'm gonna give him a pass here.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah. I'll give him a pass too, but I will tell you this: that kind of breaks my heart a little bit. But to be fair, I was very critical on Tennessee coming into the game, especially after we lost South Carolina. So I don't have a lot of leg to stand on there when it comes to critiquing Naveen betting the mortgage on the Wildcats tonight. But thank God, no one did that, and we're still on a good path.
I also bet the over, which I didn't mention to you guys, or I did mention on the picks. So I end up losing $50 of juice on this game. Could have been 500 if I didn't bet the over, but it's all right. It's all right. You win some,
right? I mean, for a game that ended at 195, it was 150, 158, 159.
Yeah.
So that's crazy. I mean, like, I don't think. Looking back at sort of like the over-under, I don't think excuse me. I don't think that Tennessee or Kentucky, to be honest, played like bad defense per se, but the offensive, it's just one of those like better offense type of things. Rob Dillingham just balled out on all of the 3-pointers. ZZ got a lot of these like, weird open lane type of thing where like you could see that Kentucky was playing pretty tight defense and he just would find like some sort of a lane to the hoop and throws up some like wild floater and it goes in. So what can you do about that, right?
Yeah, he got a lot of I call them lucky shots to drop tonight. I mean, some of the off balance stuff that he was throwing up. I mean, they were just basically throwing up prayers.
Those were like a Kyrie Irving like floaters.
I mean, those are impossible to defend. Yeah, Kentucky did have some great offensive performances tonight, but man, let's talk about Zakai Ziegler's performance tonight. Zakai, I mean, I said it on the podcast yesterday. I knew that he was I knew that he was going to be the cat killer, the kitty killer, right? He was going to assassinate them tonight. I said that he would have a double-double. I also said that yesterday on the pod. And guy comes out with 26 and 12 tonight. Career high. Zakai Ziegler is the first person in Tennessee history in 20 years, right, to have a 2010 performance by anyone. And there is a lot of good basketball players, that have came through in the last 20 years. Chris Lofton being, probably the best that comes to my mind immediately. But even he didn't have a 2010 night like ZZ from the Empire State. But man, Naveen, what do you think about the holistic scoring overall for Tennessee tonight in comparison to what we've seen the last 6 games, where it's just basically feed Dalton?
Yeah, I think when you're mentioning this kind of scoring, you gotta try and think right. Level 1 thinking is, man, we crushed it. Level 2 is, why did we crush it? And the main thing is Swiss cheese, right? Tennessee, Kentucky is pretty fucking Swiss, man.
Yeah,
like that nice stinky Swiss, huge holes. I don't know if they can get multiple wins in the tournament looking like this. I don't think they're going to really beat that much of a SEC, so they might be on a fucking bubble after this. Hot take there. I don't really see that kind of championship kind of level team from them, and they don't have as much grit defending as we do. They got really lucky with Dillingham playing really well. Like, I don't want to shortchange him because he put on his Dalton Knecht hat and went off, and he really had nobody supporting him. But today we
Dillingham looked like Dalton Tuesday night.
Exactly. Like it was wild, man. Like I think on the Tennessee side, we finally saw a lot of players acting like they want to win the game and participate. Right? They're not in the lobby anymore. They're playing the game. EA Sports, they're in the game. So that's really what I saw. I mean, it's a lot of effort. Obviously, like, you can't. Another thing is, like, going forward, we can't really expect this kind of game.
No,
as much of Dillingham was an aberration, I think Ziegler going off for 26 and Triple J looking like.
Let me get Triple J. I still owe him something.
Fort J for Jordan. I don't know, man.
Career high, baby. Career high.
I like what you mentioned though about kind of our offensive efficiency tonight. But there were some things that stuck out to me while I was watching the game. There was great empty corner action all night that led to points in the paint. It led to, being able to come off back screens and score those threes that we were shooting at a pretty good clip tonight. And the biggest, recipient of those opportunities was Josiah Jordan James. And he decided to show up. He's no longer on the side of a milk carton. The man showed up tonight and he played ball. And that is the type of performance that, all of us that have heard, hey, man, he was a 5-star. He was this, he was that. It's what we expect. And he was able to come out and do that tonight. And, I do owe him an apology. I've been super critical of him. So to all the Vol fans out there.
Let's make it official. Josh, say it to Josiah.
Josiah, I'm sorry. I apologize for ever doubting that you would go up to Rupp and drop, what was it, 20? What you had, 23, 26? I don't want to jip you. Yeah, 26 points tonight. 26, 1 assist, and 5 rebounds, right? And then amazing defensive performance. So, I have to give credit where credit's due. He earned his keep tonight. Triple J again, from me to you, man. My bad. I'm sorry.
Andy, any other thoughts regarding the other players? Like we talked about Triple J, we talked about Dalton a little bit. We talked about the other, obviously, fucking Zakai. What about the bench? Did you see anything nice from the bench?
Yeah. So I thought that Awaka like had a pretty decent game. Like he didn't score much, but he got like I think what was it 4 offensive rebounds. So you could see him just hustling and out rebounding them, and that's in a game like this where 2 top 10 teams are going up against each other, that those like one more offensive rebounds and one more possession, like that's what usually ends up in the ends up as the difference maker, right? So I have to show him some appreciation there that he got 4 offensive rebounds. I would also shout out to Gainey. Like he didn't shoot the ball particularly well, but I don't know. I just could tell that he was sort of
He was
fired
a spark.
up.
He was the spark early. He was definitely a spark
like,
early.
He bricked in the second half. He bricked a lot of shots, but what I really liked was particularly when they got into the scuffle. And maybe we can look at the replay. And he like jumped into the scuffle, and he was just like smiling, just talking shit to the Kentucky player, like
Like
that's
I wish
when
you
I like
would make my day,
like,
please.
hey,
Do something.
and for me, and after I saw the scuffle, I texted the group, Josh and Navin immediately, and I said, "Oh, yes, let's get physical." Like I wanted to see some like aggressiveness from the player. I wanted them to take this seriously. I wanted to just show like, hey, like this is a rivalry. We care about this rivalry, and we want to to show that like affection, the passion, and I felt like he sort of played along with that. So I would say, despite his numbers not looking that great, I have to say, I was pretty impressed by him. Another player I want to shout out, I mean, he's not a bench player, but is Vescovi. We've been always saying like,
Bob, my man, Bob.
Donde está Santiago, right? And he showed up. He showed up today. He was clutch, I would say. Like he didn't take a lot of shots at all. He was playing very, very, very smart basketball. He got let me look at the stats: 11 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 block, also 1 block. And he was 3 of 4 for field goals, all from the 3-point line. So and him hitting those early 3-pointers helped Tennessee get out to the lead. And I'm sure you guys recall, I think there has been like 4 times where Tennessee had like 13 or 14-point lead that evaporated to like 4 points. And then each time Santiago just hit like the timely threes that, increases the lead from 3 to 6, 2 to 5, 5 to 8. So gotta give him some flowers again. Very happy. Like I said at the beginning of the pod, I feel like this is like one of the most like perfect games you could execute it against a ranked opponent on the road. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, man. Andy saying, I think we're we've said it all. Triple J, Vescovi, all the role players that we've wanted to basically show up all season. They showed up on the biggest stage tonight so far for as far as Tennessee games go, being that it's a big rivalry game. Let's sign off with one thing. I want to get your thoughts about Tennessee's opportunity if they continue to run the table in league play seeing as the SEC is probably going to get 9, maybe 10 teams into the tournament now, just based on the way everybody's playing. What are your thoughts on Tennessee making the 1 line going into the tournament?
I think it's possible, but you got to think that 2 is a bit more realistic. I think that we did have those 3 pretty big losses in non-conference. In conference, let's say we win the SEC. I think 1 is possible. Like win SEC tournament outright.
Tournament doesn't matter. Regular season matters. We know the 1 seed's decided on Saturday. So
right, I would back Josh up here and say we've seen time and time again that the committee pretty much has the bracket decided by Saturday, and unless like a favorite gets upset on then they might swap out. But and then we've seen it like a couple years ago, right? So I'm gonna agree with Josh here. I think the 2 seed is like the most likely. Just going with what we've seen in the past.
Yeah, I mean SEC is doing well, but so is Big 12. Kansas is tough.
Yeah, Big 12 is tough, man. Big 12 is going to be hard to overcome. But to your point about Tennessee's losses, I mean, all of Tennessee's losses, with the exception of Mississippi State and South Carolina, are going to be the other 1 seeds.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So, like, when it comes to Tennessee versus
it's only 3 people, seed, so that leaves one other 1 seed.
But those are the teams that they're competing against for the 1 seed. Like it's the same thing, right? It's the same argument, right? So if it comes between Tennessee and North Carolina, let's say, who are they going to run in? And it's all records the same. PD Pablo. But yeah. That's my point, right? Like you can say one part of it, but the other part of it is also true. So I think that like 2 is probably good. I don't know that like being a 1 is that much of a huge advantage for anything. As we saw, 16s beat 1s, 15 beats 2.
One time.
Well, twice in the past couple of years, right? Like Virginia lost, and then we had FDU beat.
Was it FDU was a 16 seed against the 1?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. My bad. You would know Farley Dickinson.
Yeah, dude.
Pretty well. Your dad connection and everything.
Yeah, it's a local school for us. So I'm just saying that I don't really care. Honestly, I could care less. 1 to 3 doesn't really matter. Unless, like, dude, we have to make the Elite 8. That's my call to action to Rick Barnes. If you don't get to Elite 8 with this team and a fucking generational scorer, I think you got to start thinking who's on the hot seat with at Tennessee, man. Just like we had our guest from Kentucky call out Calipari.
He's down bad. Kyle is down bad, man.
Yeah, dude,
he's down bad.
I think in fairness, right? If we have this caliber of a team and we don't make past the Sweet 16, I would consider that a massive failure.
Yeah,
it's a massive, massive failure. So we got to do it. That's my final thoughts on Tennessee today.
All right. Well, looking forward to next week. We got LSU and Texas A&M coming up. Both those should be winnable games. I think we go 2-0 in those. So setting ourselves up for a pretty good stretch. Like we go LSU, A&M, Arkansas, Vandy, Missouri, A&M. So we're going to see a lot of the same people in the next couple of weeks of February. It's going to be really easy for us. But then when we get to the end of February and going into March, that's when we go Auburn, Bama, South Carolina, Kentucky. That's how we close out the regular season. So still a lot to play for. Let's not get complacent on these easy games coming up in the next couple of weeks. But hey, man, nothing like winning it, Rob. Love that we sent those fuckers back to the coal mines tonight. I'm going to go ahead and sign us off. Hey, I appreciate everybody that came in and joined us. But make sure you go to the socials, like us, follow us, go to the streams. And I'm Josh for Andrew and Naveen. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Locky Top out, fellas. Go Vols.
Go Vols.